So, welcome to the All Ireland podcast. My name is Dylan Murphy, and with me today I have Lorraine Nash. So, thanks very much for joining me today, Lorraine.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
So just to get started, can you start by explaining a little bit about your history of music, what got you interested in music, and where you are today, I suppose.
Yeah, so I started playing music when I was very young. I was playing like trad and all that kind of stuff, and I did a bit of classical. So I was mainly interested in playing like instruments. I'd never really written anything. And then I started writing songs when I was about guitar as well. So I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do after school. So I kind of took a year out to do a music course, and then I kind of realized that music is what I wanted to do. So I put a lot more time into it.
And are you still studying music now?
No, I actually finished that course and now I'm studying English in UCC.
Okay. So how did you kind of get to how did you get to recording your own singles and your own EP in the past
Yeah.
year or so?
So I had always been doing my own demo and I was using that to kind of lay down ideas for a while. And then I got a little bit of recording gear at home, so I was doing bits like that. But I would have like released any of that stuff because I just didn't think the quality was that great. So then I kind of started like thinking about it properly, and I laid out all the tracks that I wanted to record for the EP,
Okay.
and I put all the templates together and anything that I needed for musicians, like the string players and all that kind of stuff. And then I took about a year to do that, and then when I was ready, I went into the studio with it.
And if you had to describe your music to someone that hadn't heard it before, how would you describe it?
Sorry, can you say that again? The
If you
connection
had
was
to
a bit weird.
describe your music to someone that hadn't heard it before, how would you describe it?
I think it's mainly folk or country, but like I mean, there is elements of other stuff in there. Like you could easily find like trad music if you tried.
Okay, so your first EP called Wildflower,
Yeah,
released back in June, isn't that right?
that's it.
How did you get started recording tracks for the EP? Like, what's the whole story of getting into the studio and making this a real project, I suppose?
So the second year of my music course that I did was optional, but I decided that I wanted to do it because I was going to take the so that's when I started thinking about it properly. And like I said, I started doing my demos and stuff like that and working more on the artwork.
Mm.
Yeah, so that whole year was just me putting this whole thing together. And then I spent that summer with different session musicians and stuff like that, just trying to get it down. And so, yeah, that's kind of the whole thing.
So kind of the whole kind of second year of the music course this was your kind of passion project, we'll say. This was kind of what you spent your spare time doing.
Yeah, definitely. Because, like, I mean, part of that course was entrepreneurship, and you're kind of thinking about what you want to do after you leave.
Right.
Because, I mean, sometimes it can be hard to visualize what you're actually going to do in the music, like doing live stuff. So it's kind of thinking of what ways can you make a living for yourself being a musician. And this was kind of my business idea or whatever.
Okay, and how did it feel transitioning from that course and going into something like English?
I thought about what I wanted to do for a while. Like I was thinking digital media or something like that. I didn't really know, but like English was my like first choice, let's say, before music. So like I was always thinking of doing an English course, and I think it's something nice as well. It felt a bit weird because like all I did in that other course was kind of it was practical stuff. So you're spending
Okay.
all day playing, or you're like in the studio, or just stuff like that. But like sitting down and like having to study again after taking 2 years out from it was a bit weird. All right.
So, you spent the second year of the music course working on the EP and recording the singles and stuff. How did it feel like going from the, let's say, the creative side of things to actually releasing the singles and releasing the EP? Did it kind of feel difficult to make that transition?
It's weird because it feels like you have to do yeah, it feels like you have to do one or the other. Because like I'd either be spending my time like writing for like let's say months at a time, or I'd be planning stuff like thinking about the business side of things, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
But no, it was a bit weird because like I only had ever spent time doing the creative side of things, so it's weird trying to think of yourself as a business and trying to sell your music. I think the first experience is probably the weirdest. So like maybe, and then I kind of like know the running of things a bit better.
And do you think it's a difficult task to do when you're used to being a musician and more used to the creative side of things to make that transition?
It is a bit weird because I mean, all anyone wants to think when they're playing music and stuff, and it's what they want to do, they're like, oh,
Mm.
I'll just like play my music and that's fine. I don't want to think about money and all that kind of stuff. But it is hard to kind of think of like, oh, will this sell, or what way do I make this look good, and this kind of thing.
Yeah.
Um, this part for me because it was always just me recording what I wanted and doing whatever I want with it. But it's when you're kind of presenting it to other people, you kind of have to think of it from their point of view as well.
So I suppose bringing things back a small bit, when you went to record the tracks for the EP, like what was the experience like actually being in the studio? Did you have any studio experience before that?
Yeah, I had done stuff when I was younger when I'd first started writing songs, and I think I didn't come out with stuff that I was like really happy. It was a really good experience to get that first studio week out of the way, let's say, because I knew then that I had kind of just not planned it properly. I didn't have like what I wanted to do, like just organized. And
Okay.
that kind of taught me that like you can like especially with studio time can be so expensive and you just don't want to waste it. So I knew going in the second time for this EP that like I had to like know exactly what I wanted to do each day, um just a bit more organization and stuff like that. But yeah, like the second time I really knew what I was doing.
And over roughly how long are the tracks recorded for an EP like this?
um I started at the start of the summer like last year and probably finished like August. Like all that stuff was finished, but then the mixing went on a bit later. Like the recording was finished early enough. It was just kind of getting the tracks I liked, and I don't know, just doing some final edits and stuff at the very end.
So do you think it's kind of an intensive workload when you're recording and mixing the tracks?
Sorry.
I said, do you think it's kind of an intensive workload when you're
Oh yeah,
recording them?
yeah, definitely. I mean, it's because especially when you're listening to the same tracks over and over and over, you're kind of thinking like, am I like hearing stuff that I should be, or like your ears get a bit tired after a while. So like there was a couple of times where I took a week or two off just to like not listen to the songs at all, and then come back at them with a kind of a new, fresh.
So you listed that. So you kind of explained before already the kind of genre of your music and the type of music that is. Do any names come to mind when you think of inspirations for your tracks?
Not for the tracks specifically. They're all kind of just the one. But like the people that I would be listening to, like a lot of female singer songwriters, like Wallace Bird and Laura Marling and all those kind of things.
Okay.
Like I think it's more even obviously great as well. It's just the way they kind of carry themselves. They're very just, I don't know, it's more about the music with them instead of like, you know, you can see a lot of like really popular female artists and it becomes very like aesthetic, but with them it's just their music.
So you think it's important to be genuine and to be to really show your own personality, I suppose.
Yeah, I think it's easier to relate to people as well, especially when you're listening to their songs, which are like personal things to them. It's nice when you know that they're actual, like, I suppose, genuine, real people as well.
And is that something that you try to get across in your own music? Are they kind of based on any kind of personal experience or any kind of personal thoughts or feelings?
Um, I don't know. I don't think so. I think it's just more being inspired by these people and thinking that it's just a good way to go and to follow in their footsteps.
So to kind of write something that's kind of inspired by them or to kind of match a similar style, would that be right?
Yeah, like I mean, obviously, it's based on my own experiences and stuff like that. Sometimes when you are stuck, it's nice to write in the style of someone else to kind of step outside your bubble. But yeah, I mean, I've had a lot of time lately, obviously, to be writing, like everyone has. So, yeah. It's nice to kind of step outside your comfort zone sometimes.
So you released the first single, and the first single was "Changing Tides." Is that right?
No, the first single was Wildflower, and then the second single was like delayed for a while because of this.
Oh, right, sorry. So, you released the first thing. So you released "Wildflower" as a single first, and do you
Yeah,
think that was kind of, do you think it was, do you think it was a good experience to release one single first before releasing the whole EP? Do you think it was easier to do things that way?
yeah, definitely. I think especially when since it's like my first single, it was a good way to like dip my toe in the water and see, I don't know, just to see what the reaction would be like.
Yeah.
Because I did spend some time promoting that, and I think it gave a bit more anticipation. I feel like it would have just been out there, and I wouldn't have got any like mileage out of it. You know,
Okay.
it's kind of I don't know, it gave me a bit more time to build up a bit more of a listenership and stuff like that as well.
So, um, like, did you kind of learn anything, or do you feel like you kind of had, yeah, do you feel like you learned anything new, or kind of overcame any challenges in the process of releasing the single the first time?
The first single, yeah, because it was my first release, like overall, and I everything was new to me. Because even like the second single and stuff, I kind of understood what was happening a bit better. Because like stuff goes wrong the whole time, like like the first single, like there was issues where it wasn't being uploaded to Spotify on time and stuff like that. And I kind of learned that like everything needs to be done like weeks and weeks in advance.
Yeah.
Because you think that things will just happen. Um,
Sorry, could you repeat what you said there? You were talking about how you have to upload to Spotify weeks in advance, and I kind of
oh
missed
yeah, just
after
stuff
that.
like that, just being prepared on like just being prepared a lot before, because like I kind
Yeah.
of knew I had to do it and then I left it a bit later and then obviously things got delayed. So it's just kind
Okay.
of just being on time with stuff is something I definitely learned.
Okay. Was there anything else that kind of surprised you, or anything else that you weren't really expecting in the process of releasing the single?
Um, what to expect a little bit, just because I've done a lot of, let's say, research into other releases and stuff like that, and just the
Okay.
process of doing it. But no, nothing really surprised me. I think I was kind of learning that I needed to put a lot more time into social media was another
Yeah.
thing, because like
Okay.
I wouldn't really care about like personal Facebook pages and all that kind of stuff. So when it came to this and I actually had to do it, that was a bit of a learning curve for me. It's just staying on top of things like that. Like when they don't like personally the stick of my music.
So when you released the EP, then was it a bigger task because obviously it's a bigger release and there's more tracks, or do you feel like you learned enough from releasing the singles that it wasn't really much of a challenge at that stage?
So I had that first single, and then I actually released the second one while I was thinking about what to do, because like I was supposed to have a physical launch, and obviously that like couldn't have happened. But kind of did a lot better than the first one, so then I think it gave a lot more I don't know anticipation for the EP,
Hmm.
because there wasn't too much promotion to do for the EP, because like all the material was already there, like the singles and stuff and the videos. So like when I was releasing the EP, it was kind of more about like buying physical CDs and stuff like that.
And obviously there's been a lot of restrictions and stuff in the past 2 months. What do you think would have been different if um we didn't have those restrictions and stuff? Do you think it would have been a different process recording? I mean, we're promoting the EP, I suppose.
Definitely, yeah. Because like there's kind of two ways you can look at it. Like obviously it is like such a shame that like I had a couple of like gigs and like they were cancelled. But then other stuff like the live streams I did, like by the time they're shared and like on different people's pages and it just gets around, you'll have a lot more people having had viewed it, even if they just like see it in passing, and your name is out there a lot more.
Okay.
Those I have would have been in Collins, and let's say if I had built it, whatever, that would have been like 60 or 70 people. But then online, you can get up to like 1,000 people just from people sharing it. Because like, I mean, a live gig is such a great thing, and like there's such an atmosphere and stuff. But like, I think having started stuff off this way wasn't the worst. Like, I mean, I never really would have done live streams, I don't think, if it wasn't for this. But I think they've kind of been good, because like the few I have done, I've been really happy with. So I could like be complaining about how I'm missing out on my gigs, but like things are going okay anyway.
Yeah, and you know, you kind of got into there. You have been doing live streams and stuff on Facebook. So what is the so how do you think that process has been? Do you think it's been good, or is it just kind of making the best out of a bad situation?
Like I said, I don't think I would have done live streams if it wasn't for this, because I'm just totally just, I don't know, unless I have to do it. Like I don't make YouTube videos or any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But like I think it has been good, and like it's kind of pushed me out of my comfort zone again to do stuff like that. And like each one gets easier. And I think like I hadn't done many live gigs before this either, but I think that's such a good way to get started as well. It kind of gives you it's like you think it'd be more pressure, but it's not. It feels just kind of like you're in your room or whatever, just singing away to yourself.
Okay. And on a more general note, with social media in general, do you think it's a hard task to keep stuff kind of up to date and to update people? Or again, is it kind of a casual, just kind of quickly posting something? And is it an easy or hard process, I suppose, is what I'm trying to ask.
To be using social media
Yeah.
for promotion. Well, I think it's like, obviously it's great, because like how would I notify people about all these things that are going on if I didn't have it? Because like I said, I didn't really enjoy it, but like I know that like it is like a benefit to me to have it. So
Sorry, could you repeat what you said there? I kind of missed some of it.
oh yeah, sorry. Like it's a benefit to have it, definitely. So like, I mean, I'll use it whenever I need to use it, and whenever I need to like update people on stuff, it's just great to have it. And it's not too bad now at the moment, because like I think if you're in college and stuff like that, it's just a lot of like extra hassle to be thinking about that stuff as well. But when you're at home, like it's fine.
Okay. So, looking forward, do you have any plans on kind of kind of short-term basis for your music? Do you want to record anything else soon, or do you want to, you know, you kind of said that you're writing a few things. Is there any kind of plan? Is there any kind of plan for any of that material anytime soon?
Um, Not in the near future, but I've
Okay.
gotten into like doing some demos again. Like I've written a fair amount, and I think it's kind of deciding as well, like, do I want to carry on and do another EP, or like would I like to do a full album? It's kind of just stuff like that I just don't know about yet. I think I like EP, and the thing is I haven't got to do any live gigs with it, so hopefully if I do, or when I do, I can get some more use out of the songs that I've recorded already. But yeah, no, I'm going to keep writing anyway.
So, from your perspective, do you think that there's still work to be done with the current EP in terms of promoting it and stuff? Because obviously you haven't got to do any live gigs yet. So would you like to kind of tour that around a bit and get people to listen to it before getting in too deeply with something else?
Jump straight into another EP or another album, but I feel like I only released the other one like 2 months ago, so there is a lot more promotion that I could do, and like you were saying as well, like getting a few live gigs out of this one would be great, like with those songs, but like sure, we don't know.
And now, of the current material that you're writing, is there any kind of stuff that's kind of standing out to you as being like, you know, this would make a good song, or this would make a good track to put on another EP or something in the future?
Yeah, there have been because like you always think that you're like the most recent song you've written is the best, but I'm even looking over some stuff that I'd written before this EP, and I'm like thinking that I could record those still, because you know it's good, it's material that I can always be using as well. So yeah, I have a few bits that I'm like happy with, definitely, and I've started like putting tracks onto those. So hopefully, yeah.
If you were to look back at the current EP, would you have a track that you say is your favorite, or is that a very difficult question to answer?
My favorite. I think that my favorite would be River, maybe, because like I think I'm just like most happy with the lyrics in that one anyway for a start, and then the instrumentation came out. Um, I don't know what way I had planned it. Like the other ones, I'd spent so much time with them, but that's the like last one I had written, and it
Okay.
almost felt a bit rushed. But everything kind of happened a bit more naturally. Like I don't know, like that when I had like demoed it.
And and so like looking forward, do you see yourself releasing music independently in on a long-term basis?
Um, yeah, because like I think at this small scale that I'm working on, I don't think I need um like a label or anything like that at the moment. I
Okay.
think I'm just gonna tip away on my own and see how things go. Um, yeah, I think I'm just starting out at the moment.
Sorry, could you repeat what you said there? I think I missed some of it.
Oh yeah, sorry, the connection's a bit weird. Yeah, no, I think when I'm releasing stuff on such a small scale, I don't feel like I need that much. Um, I don't know. I suppose like obviously, you know, if a dream label came up with me, whatever, obviously you would go with that. But I don't
Yeah.
think there's any need for small labels and stuff like that at the moment. I'm just gonna carry on and see how things go.
Okay, so we're nearly out of time, I'm afraid. But just before we go, if people are looking online, where should they look to find more?
Where should they look? So the physical EP, like I said, is up in Bandcamp, and there is everything's up on Spotify. I have some videos on YouTube, and then obviously like my Instagram and my Facebook and Twitter and all that kind of stuff will give you updates if you want to know anything about my music.
Okay, so this has been Lorraine Nash. It's been a pleasure to talk to you, Lorraine. Thanks very much.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks very much. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.